How's everybody doing? This is King's Accountability Channel. I was doing a little bit of brainstorming, deep in my thoughts a little, and I was kind of thinking about the meaning of a certain word, what it means to me, what it means to other people, what it means by literal definition, and that word is relevant to everybody in its meaning and effect. That word is freedom. The first thing that I want to say about freedom is it's not an on and off switch. It is a scale. You can be more free or less free. I believe that on a basic level of understanding, there are probably people out there that believe that, not thinking much deeper than freedom is the ability to walk down the street as you please, and it's much more than that. By actual definition here, there are two of them. There's an A and a B. The first and primary definition of freedom is the absence of necessity, coercion, or constraint in choice or action, meaning you can think and you can do as you please. Definition B is, I believe, in my modern society, just as relevant. Slavery in the traditional sense no longer exists, but I've always said for years that many of our modern institutions are neo-slavery or forms of slavery, bondage without chains. Definition B, liberation from slavery or restraint or the power of another. So if, for instance, you could say that you owed a debt and it was on a credit report, that credit report holds a power over you in a way. So that would be a form of slavery, the opposite of freedom. And we do it in the guise of safety. You know, we're trying to protect each other. And it's good to have a second thought and a deeper thinking of certain things, but I believe that a lot of division is institutional. The point in a broader sense that I wanted to get to on the topic of freedom is, I'm going to say something really controversial here, probably the most controversial thing that I've ever put on the internet, but I know that there will be many people that agree with me and other people that want to go cry. Police are the enemy of freedom. They are the enemies of liberty in the United States. Controversial, I know. Let me tell you why. Even by the alternate definition, definition B, they are the slavers of modern America, in my opinion. Restraint or power over another person, they are, if somebody were to break a law or not break a law that's determined by that officer, they are the arbiters at that point of whether or not a person should be free or should not be free, and that in a way makes them a slaver. Police are an institution of public safety. Safety, like freedom, is also on a scale. Safety and freedom are directly related to each other on that scale. The safer you are, the less free you are. Freedom is dangerous. The only thing more dangerous is not having it. The lie that modern institutions, governments, and the ruling class propagate to further enslave you is the more police, the safer you are. On a little side note here, on regards to that, the Supreme Court has ruled, I don't know the exact case number, I'll put it up on the screen, or ruling number, but the Supreme Court has ruled that the police have no duty to attempt to preserve life if they are to put themselves in danger. They have no duty to try and save a drowning kid on a beach if they don't want to get wet. The ruling class foments division constantly in the public and fear of your fellow man, citizen, and neighbor. Turn on the news and 90% of what you see is negative. The U.S. prison system is a for-profit industry, just like slavery. The United States also has more prisoners per capita than any other modern country in the world. The line of distinction between a free man and a criminal is a manufactured legal distinction. Legality is and has never been synonymous with morality or ethics. Many laws in human history have been immoral. The ruling class that propagate the lie about police making you safer is not an ethical one. Many of the people at that point got there by capitalizing on others. They would have you eat, sleep, shit, and work 24 hours per day in an ultra-safe 8x8 box if it improved their lives. That is also what jail and prison is. Many of society's institutions are designed to only allow enough freedom to keep the public docile. The Constitution is an imperfect barrier to attacks on our freedom. I am a believer in the Constitution. I believe in what it stands for. I believe in its intent. But it is supposed to be considered a living document, I believe. And it can be changed and adapted to better fit modern society because it is a document that was written over 300 years ago at this point. Unfortunately, I don't believe that there is one constitutional right that cannot be removed or bypassed via state, federal laws, judges' orders, or the DOJ. Something as simple as yelling in public has become illegal in the form of something as simple as disorderly conduct. So at that point in time, you actually do not have free speech. There are constraints on it, caveats, loopholes, ways that the government can put their thumb on you and keep you down. You will find as much injustice as justice within a self-serving institution like the Department of Justice. The DOJ are the enforcers of the ruling class, arbiters of created laws to restrict freedom and help people like them versus the working class. It is us versus them. Many of these laws are punitive in a way that they are much more affecting and punishing towards a person that doesn't have as many means of financial mobility, or a lot of these are financial consequences for crimes that the rich, if they were caught for something like that, it doesn't affect their lives at all, but it's hugely punitive to somebody that is a blue-collar job, $50,000 a year, something like that. To effectively defend yourself from attacks on your freedom in the United States of America, you will need to pay to play. Laws are often predatory to the working class who are less able to financially defend themselves, and it is by design. The elite use the DOJ to oversee, oppress, enslave the American public and limit class mobility. The DOJ and any other institute of contractor or subcontractor for the DOJ are all, every single last one of them, all parasites to the American public, more than protectors. Parasites to the American public more than protectors. They are holding people down more than helping elevate society. These people include police, prisons, judges, prosecutors, DAs, clerk's office staff, parole and probation office and officers, drug testing facilities, ignition interlock shops, tow companies, psychiatric and mental health assessors. The DOJ is a vessel that transfers the economic life force from the poor to the rich, an institute of culling and control. The sheep never suspect the sheep herder would eat them. Don't be a sheep.